Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich buses today. Ipswich buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to this, your Wednesday midweek hump day. But we are here, the last match day preview show of the year. We are here. The holiday season is just literally around the corner. So let me know in the comments if you're watching this live or watching it on catch up. Where are you off to on your holidays this year? How long are you going for? Self-catering, all-inclusive. Get my juices, my holiday juices going, because I sadly am probably not off anywhere. Well, A, I can't afford it, and B, I can't afford it. Yeah, let me know where you're going. Make me green with absolute envy. We've had a great week so far on the platform. Monday's show was off the charts. If you've not seen it, I do suggest going back. Alex, George, myself, we put some things to bed, some great debates, and tonight we'll probably do the same between me and the milk tray man, Ben Adams. Looking forward to seeing what goes on our last match day preview show. We are now around probably about 50, 55. I can't ever remember which one it is, away from our last Friday show. I've been asked a couple of times via WhatsApp, Messenger, various different methods, what we're doing for the summer. As I've said previously, we are going to, keep producing content, hopefully that you'll enjoy over the summer months. Perhaps not in the same way that you're used to, in the sense of, Monday, Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Sunday, blah, blah, blah. But I do have a number of ideas, which I hope you'll enjoy. And I know the contributors are really excited to keep the content train flowing. And if you're somebody who's sitting at home, wants to either A, get involved as a contributor, B, get involved by producing an idea, or C, just offer support, you can do so by emailing the email address in the description. Good evening, Lee Brown. G is in the room. And still, good evening, everyone. Not long till closing time. Well, skeleton crew. We'll mothball it. Carl Brooks, evening all. Good to see the under-18s romping to a 7-0. 7-0. Beautiful. Disneyland. It's Paris in June, says Sarah Davis. Lovely. Evening from sunny Gran Canaria. All-inclusive cocktail o'clock. Heidi. Mine. Oh, hang on. What time is it? 8:30. Let's start with the pina colada. All right. Let's start there. Then we'll move on to a blue lagoon. And I'm going to finish with a tequila sunrise. Yeah. How's your cocktail evening going to go? Let me know. Ben Moore. No holidays for me. Speedway watching and playoffs. Can't wait. Long weekend in Barbados. I've never, ever been to Scarborough, but I know Amy speaks very highly of it. Josh says, holiday, what's the holiday? No, you're with me, Josh. You're with me, my friend. We'll be the non-holiday crew. Simon and Nikki, my dad lives in France, and I haven't seen him since 2019. Well, hopefully you'll get across there. Voulez-vous français? Grape before grain, says Dominic Mann. Dom, I'm probably going to show my class right now. I ain't got a clue what you're talking about, mate. But what I do know is we are here tonight and every night, thanks to these wonderful Talking Town Fifth Standards. If you should so wish to support the platform, either one-off or by contributing just as little as £5 a month, then please do click the link in the description or in the live chat right now. Honestly, anything you give is truly appreciated. Every support, be it financial or by just saying, hello, Martin, we watch your stuff. It truly is appreciated. But I've been sitting at this office today all day, as it's my technical day to do the show, with my son at his grandma's, and I have been working on hopefully some magical, fantastic stuff for next season, not the summer, but for next season, that through these people's wonderful support, we're able to do and able to produce. One of the things I'm potentially looking at, maybe a community season ticket, try and get people there that, can't go every week or whatever. I don't know. It's still literally in pencil format, but, we've got some things lined up, hopefully, that thanks to the support of the community is only possible. That's just one of them. Where are we now? Right. That was the fifth standers. If you want to become a fifth stander or YouTube member, such as the great Josh Russell, then please do support us. Our last prediction league is also now active. Link will be in the chat very shortly. Week 36, Town, Charlton, Colchester, Walsall, Cambridge, Cheltenham, Plymouth, MK Dons, Aston Villa versus Norwich, Nottingham Forest versus Swansea, Newcastle versus Liverpool, and Blackburn versus Bournemouth. I've tried to include all the local games as well as the ones that mean something. So Forest and Bournemouth. And of course, I just threw Newcastle, Liverpool in there because I thought that might be a coupon buster. Newcastle are suddenly bang in form. League table, as we head into the last week, is Mike Woods literally running away with it. Whew! How rude. Rob Smith, 48. Emerson, 45. Davis, 39. Ben Moore, Stephen Fuchs, Paul Birchinell currently sharing that last position with Ian Houston. So if it was to end today, they would be included in the prize raffle. Duncan, Trevor, Ant Steele, Ando, Mossy, Cruncher, Damien Knight, so close with Dr. Zach King, Kerry, Matt, etc. All still hanging on in there. Plenty of points to play for this week. So do get involved. Grape equals wine, grain equals beer. I'll just drink them all, Ant, to be fair, mate. You line them up, son, and I'll sink them. Simple as that. We are waiting for Ben to join us. He is having technical difficulties. So this is why you've currently got me. Prediction League. Get entering big time. Points to be won. Prizes to be had. Let's go on with the show. What have we got lined up for you tonight? We've got Sonny Aluko. The extension has been activated, we understand. 1 more year at the very least. What do you make of that? We'll have a conversation on that one. Please do get involved. We'll have more Wes Burns love. He cleaned up last night at the awards. Player connections. 3 players. Can Ben guess them in 60 seconds or less by asking as many questions as he possibly can? Guess who style and everything else. Right, here he is. He's not been on for a while. He's been traveling the 7 seas, but he's back. We've missed him. We love him dearly. It's our move. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. More importantly, how are you?
Colder than the last time we spoke on the podcast.
Yes, the last time we spoke, you were sitting on a bench at Disneyland. What is that actually called? Because I called it one thing and I got told off by the chat. What is it actually called?
Disney World, Magic Kingdom, however you might call it.
Disney World, not Disneyland.
I call it Disney World. Disneyland's in California, Anaheim. So I was outside Animal Kingdom when we last spoke, I think. And yeah, I think that was off the back of a crap result as well. So not much has changed since I've been back.
No, not much. Well, I don't know. But how was Disney World? Did you enjoy it?
Restorative, relaxing, and everything that Danny and I needed it to be, which is exactly what a holiday should be.
What's your favourite Disney character?
Gaston.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I love a bit of Gaston. Yeah, I was quite a quiet kid and he was quite loud. So he kind of represented everything that I would love to be one day, which is quite kind of, he could sing. He was confident. I love the man. I looked up to him. Obviously, looking back now, he's a bit of a shit. But I didn't know that at 11 years old.
Yeah, I mean, if you put a beard on Gaston, you almost could see a similarity.
Got my chest hair.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big. My knowledge isn't huge on Gaston's chest hair, to be fair, but I'll take your word for it. My favourite Disney character is probably. Oh, I don't actually know. It's probably Mufasa.
Mufasa. Okay, yeah. James L. Jones, voice of Darth Vader. Yeah,
Beautiful casting for the voice there by
it was
the
beautiful.
director. That is just stunning.
Simba.
But just because he's everything I've wanted, probably my biological dad to be. But but Simba or Scar, I like Scar as well. You know.
Yeah, bit of the shadow self there, bit of the naughty, bit of the
I kind of
break
like
the
Scar.
rules.
Yeah.
I hear
Although
that.
Lion
Awesome.
King 2 is up there with Lion King 1. I know people will probably have a go at me for saying that, because Lion King 1 is one of the greatest films of all time. I can still cry now watching it. But Lion King 2 is underrated. It's got some bangers in that film.
Jesus, right. I'll remember that next time you offer me a formation that works, that your judgment is severely impaired. Okay, fair enough.
It's got some bangers in that, to be fair. Disney in the bin, says Ben Moore. Ben, we didn't know we knew you didn't have taste before, but now you just confirmed it. That's fine.
Ben, I got married there with my wife. It's a beautiful place. How could you say that?
Andrew White, Disneyland in California, went there 34 years ago.
Wow.
Josh with the question. Here's a question. Disneyland Paris or Disney Lane in California?
California, I think, just because of where it's surrounded, and Disneyland Paris, you're in France.
Mon two. Right.
Mon deux.
I'm not great. Sacre bleu. I'm not great at French. Spanish I can do. French, not so much. Right, we've got to do what we normally do, bringing it back to the football. Sadly, I don't want to.
Oh, I know.
The last week we kind of got to make it about the football. Do you know what I mean?
Lovely distraction there.
Yeah, but from next week we can kind of go off script a lot more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, exciting.
Literally, we can go.
I think. Who knows?
Shit, I need those. Hang on. I generally do need those. Right, league table. I'm afraid I have to share with you, my friends, is this as we head into the final game of the season. Ipswich Town occupying 11th position.
Look at that.
3 points away from Portsmouth. 6 away. Sorry.
Can you remember those halcyon days of years gone by when we'd be as high as 9th? Can you remember that?
Yeah, we won't finish 9th this year.
No, we're not.
It's Bolton in 10th, Oxford in 8th, 75. Look, I was talking to a really positive Ipswich Town fan earlier. One of the most positive Town fans I've known, and even he said to me, "I look at that league table and I feel absolutely sick." When you look at that league table, Ben, what do you feel? Because I feel embarrassed. I feel utterly embarrassed. Look at that league table.
It's funny, isn't it? Because there's kind of two sides to this. There's the side of what Cruncher says, which is quite right, which is it's an embarrassment and a failure of a season because we're 11th in League One, and that's a fact, and it's a horrible fact, and it's a hard fact, and yet, I see in my misery hope. And a lot of other people see it too, because we've already sold more season tickets for next season than we have in the past 15 years. So it's not just me feeling it that way. I think what's that phrase? It's always darkest before the dawn. And I know that Ipswich Town is a club of false dawns. We know this. This has been our existence.
True.
But I think Crunch also said, I was listening to him quite carefully. He said something, or was it Colin who said it? No, it was Colin. He said something very true after the last game. I think he said that I think Kieran McKenna kind of needed to have those few bad results and those late goals in this last few games, because it kind of almost orientates him to where we need to be. I think if we're scoring goals and we're winning lots of games, but we can't get in the top 6, does it almost kind of perhaps paper over those cracks, almost give a false sense of security? Maybe 11th is where we have to be before we become 5th. So I'm kind of seeing it through that viewpoint. Maybe we have to have a really awful place, and there are reasons for that. I still blame a lot of this on the first 10 games of the season. We've been playing catch up for an entire year. Fair enough. But the results haven't quite been what we needed to be, but the quality of football is better. The infrastructure is better. We actually have a spine of a team that we would take forward into next season, which is not something we said too often in the last few years. And I think if perhaps you'd have offered where we are now to maybe the end of the first season in the League One, we would have taken it, because everything underneath the league position for me is really solid and gives me a lot of security and comfort. And and you have to kind of hope that's going to be a springboard to better things, certainly next season. So it's disappointing. I look at it and I feel a bit embarrassed. We have a massive wage bill. I get that, but also 19 signings is a hell of a lot of signings in one season to instantly go, bang, you're promoted. I don't think it's ever happened anywhere before, but that's an old debate. It's where we are.
Yeah.
I'm more interested where we can be, and where I think we can be is somewhere better than now, a lot better. It's something. It's under the waters are choppy, but underneath it's steadier. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely perfect sense, and it is a really bizarre moment in time that I feel we're currently we're in, because you look at the league table and you and most, if even the most positive fan will look at it and feel sick, they'll feel embarrassed.
Sure, of course.
You'll work out how a team like Charlton, who had the worst of starts, have won as many games as we have all season. If they beat us on Saturday, they would have won 18. They won't go above us, but they would have won one more game than we have after a disastrous start. But yet you do have this, and I'm like you, I have this optimism that it's a different summer to the ones we're used to, and it's a different path, and it's almost a false league position. But I also have to say, as fans, and you're probably more positioned to talk about this than I am, because you're somebody who has done this in the past with our academy players. We have bigged up this squad far too much. Nottingham Forest had an awful start. They're on the verge of getting automatic promotion because that was a good squad badly managed. This was a good squad badly managed, but the manager changed to a good manager, and it still couldn't put a goal past Cheltenham, a goal past Morecambe. Still couldn't.
The reasons we could do for days, and there are many, and they're quite deep. The transition, the size we had, I don't think was ever going to, unless it was the most perfectly chosen alignment of 19 kind of integers plus a manager to get us promoted. That's a very rare thing. But what's been left out of those changes is a spine, and I'm all for spines. I think my summation of the season.
They're huge. I've heard.
We've got a championship defence, we've got a League One midfield, and we've got a National League strike force, and that is why we're not going to get promoted. It has to align. You know the old saying, the stars have to align. So does a team. I would rather they all be League One and be quite consistent. But as you go forward on that pitch, the standard actually drops. As you well know, you could even argue you've got a pretty, almost, a championship goalkeeper. I think he's very, very good. If we ever get promoted to championship, we're all going to find out together. Maybe he won't be. But I'll tell you now, for me, and this is my opinion, it's based entirely and absolutely on the strike force. Look at every team above us. They have 2 or 3 players scoring more than 15 goals a season. It doesn't matter how good your defence is. It doesn't matter how good your flying wing backs are. It doesn't matter how good Wes Burns is. It doesn't matter how much we control the game, as has been shown statistically. And actually, if you can't put a ball in the net, you don't get promoted. Now, you have one player. Look, Will Keane, he scored 27 goals this season. That's a big part of what Wigan have done as a team, a huge part. You look at all of those teams above us, they've all got strikers scoring goals. Will Keane has scored more goals since November, than our entire strike force has scored collectively this season. That will either stop you getting promoted or it will get you promoted. For me, that single thing is the focus. Okay, with a left back and a goal scorer midfielder, naturally, because you always want to there's always going to be improvements. For me, you take the strike force, you pick them up, you put them all in the bin, you start again. Okay. And that will be a better season next season. Just my opinion.
I love it. I see a future for "I'm all for spines" on t-shirts. I think there's a big future in that slogan you just wheeled out there. I'm all for spines. Just in general, that sounds.
Not even an orthopedic surgeon. That should be a surgeon's slogan for his private practice.
I'm all for spines. Legacy base. Anyone who finishes above Derby next season will go up. Josh has been teasing that he's in the know for a while. In the know about what, he won't say. So he's probably not. Trevor, at least there is hope. If Evans was still here, it'd be really depressing. Andy, we didn't finish where we had by losing a lot more games than those above us, but by drawing. Andy, again, how many leads we throw away? Far too many, Andy. Don't trust him with the dog. Josh, Ben, don't take that negativity elsewhere. Craig, as the Pompey fans down here say to me, we spent peanuts, you bought a new squad, and you still can't finish above us. I do like your spine, as in like what you're suggesting here with Walton, you know, and then the back three, and everything like that. I do subscribe to that method of thinking. Carl Brooks, as much as this season has been a failure on the pitch, I think we need to take the positives and build on it. First season in the new era, learning curve for all, build and conquer next year.
Agree with that.
Yeah, great point. Thank you very much, Carl, for making it. Ben, Will Keane playing team before we're going to Pickett is here. Could you see that alongside a Chaplin?
No, Pickett shouldn't be here.
Pickett, okay, right, I might come back to that. Write that down. Pickett shouldn't be here. We need to look. So far, I've got Hope flat. I'm all for spines. Pickett shouldn't be here. Great comments so far. Just a recap.
I'll tell you my Hail Mary for a striker next season. By the way, I think I've already told you, but I'll tell you what I'd do. It's totally out there. I would, if nothing else changed, you bring in your two strikers. I'd put Connor Chaplin as a striker. I really would.
Yeah. Okay.
Solves it has been a debate this season. The Aluko Selena, one or the other. Put them both.
We're coming to that in a second.
We'll come to that.
Senor Aluko. In just one memento. Sarah Davis, we need to look at the bigger picture. But I like the Chaplin idea. We'll come back to that, I think, because I want to get your thoughts on that. We do have a good squad that needs tweaking, a good manager, and a vision with the new owners. This is going to take time. Paul P. Yeah, that's the problem with life, isn't it? Like some things take time, and you want to hit the fast forward button, don't you?
You look at the great things that happen in your life. They very rarely happen quickly, unless you win the lottery. And how many people do that?
But even then, you don't win it instantly. More times than not, you got to play, quite a bit before you.
Very true.
50 quid.
Very true.
Paul P. It took Evans 14 years of managed decline to bring us down to the level we were at last April. Sorry, it was always going to take more than one season to rectify that. Right, Sonny Aluko, contract extension activated due to the number of games he has played. I'll bring in the fisherman. I'll bring him in a second. We'll just start the debate on Aluko, then he can come in and he can share his thoughts on what we're talking about there.
Great.
And about Aluko. I know he's probably going to be a big fan of Sonny's. Dominic Mann, Walton was in my FM19 team, the Ipswich Premiership after 2 years. There you go. There you go. So, Aluko, you just said I would take all of our attacking players, pick them up, and I'll paraphrase here, and launch them, right? So, Sonny Aluko, where is he in that? Because he is an attacking player that, according to SofaScore, has made 18 starts, total games played 30, started 18, 3 goals, 0 big chances created, 0.6.
I'm going to defend this. Don't you worry. I've got an answer for this. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's Sonny Aluko. What do you think about this? I'll tell you what I think in a minute, but what do you think about Sonny Aluko? And
I think it's an excellent decision. I think the majority of the fan base, from reading online, are very behind the decision. I think he brings good discipline, good character, excellent energy, and good fitness to his job. I think he's excellent with the ball at his feet, and he very rarely dips below a very high level of movement in a game. Yes, there is criticism of the amount of goals he scored. And I think even the goals he scored them all in one game. So I accept that.
He scored 2 in one game.
Assists,
it's the same week,
assists, I agree. But I would, we're working in the realms of, whataboutism. But if you had strikers scoring more than 2 goals a season, I would argue his assists would actually be quite high. I've also found that from the areas of criticism of Aluko, there's not a lot of criticisms from those sources that go to the strikers. Because you've got strikers who not only don't do their job, it would actually be more beneficial for the team if they didn't show up for their job, I would say. You had one striker do very well for one portion of one part of the season, and that's been the whole, how would you call it? The contribution of the strike force. So if you're going to, and people say, well, give Jackson another contract. He was just getting good, and Norwood's away. He always gets in there facing League One. and you're criticising Aluko? Really? Based on what? I criticise the strikers because they can't score.
Yeah.
Awfully. Their whole job is to score. That's it.
Well,
I don't care if they can muscle it. I don't care if they can muscle a defence. Yes, and there's a contradiction in my argument, because you're saying if I'm criticising the strikers who can't score, I should be criticising the centre forwards who can't provide, who can't score goals. The criticism of Aluko
it's chicken and egg, isn't it?
He should score more goals, but I guarantee if you've got 2 strikers scoring 15 to 20 goals, the Aluko problem doesn't go away. It goes away. Sorry. You've got David, you've got Norwood on 18 goals, you've got Bon on 23, you've got Piggott on 8, and you've got Jackson and it will come back on 9 goals. Nobody mentions Aluko. He doesn't even get mentioned.
It's a chicken and egg. Are they scoring? Mm-hmm. Are they not scoring goals because they're not great finishers? Are they not scoring goals because they're not getting the right level of quality opposite chances to score goals? It's which one you believe. You can't have a bit of both.
I think because maybe I'm biased because I like him and I acknowledge my bias, but I look at what he does in the game and I look at what he does to the people around him. I beat that drum every single time. I like, Chaplin and Wes Burns, who have been arguably our best players of the season. For what I see, they always play better when Aluko starts because he does that quick, ugly, quick feet job, whacking it out to the wings or putting it straight to Chaplin. He makes those two better. And that's what I like about him. He should score more goals. He should have more assists. But if he can't do that, what's that thing we said a few weeks ago? Assist the assists. But I think he makes Wes Burns do his job easily. And I think he makes Chaplin do his job easily.
Okay.
So we are having the assists that Chaplin and Burns both have loads of them. But the amount of times the ball gets put into the box and there's no one on the end of it, for me, it's not where the problem lies. You have 2 strikers scoring 20 goals a season. No one mentions Aluko. That's my bottom line on it.
This is where I would normally go to the other contributor, but I will bring the other side of the balance. Then I'll bring Mike in because I'm not sure which side Mike's going to be on. So
sure.
I disagree with that.
No,
personally,
yeah.
For the start of next year's transfer activity, it's an underwhelming start. I'm going to say that it's underwhelmed me already because it's almost like, well, we can't score goals, but we're going to run back the same. And we don't know that, but it's an underwhelming start for me personally.
But is that not a little bit of... I remember when the season ended last season and the transfer window opened and about 35 minutes later, the board was full of people. We ain't fucking signed anyone
That's
yet.
Football though, isn't it?
We're
That's
going
football.
through a thing. You've got to, this is where trust comes in. So you have to trust McKenna and he's still in that place where we still have to trust because he hasn't proven otherwise yet.
Absolutely.
I trust the process of him going about getting what he needs to do. Okay, you could say it's an underwhelming start. It hasn't actually even started yet. He's only signed an extension. That's it.
Well, and it's been activated by the number of games that he's played, which is either an oversight or it's a plan methodology. We'll never know either way.
That says a lot about. But if we had, who was a player last year who
Alan
stopped
Judge
him playing? So that didn't happen again.
But what is the difference between Alan Judge of last year and Sonny Aluko this year? I look at Aluko, Ben.
It's a fair question.
I look at Aluko and I smile. I really like Sonny Aluko, the man. Sonny Aluko makes me smile. He appears to be a down-to-earth, good-natured, bubbly, funny gentleman. Just by what you see in the press, what you see with his teammates. Never met the man, so I can't say that's a fact.
I would agree with that. Yeah,
I like him on the football pitch.
Yeah,
he brings a calmness. He brings a quality in the ball retention, which obviously goes along with what McKenna wants to do. I just then go further forward in my research, in my deep dive, if you like, of Sonny Aluko, and I get a little bit hung up on the goals and the assists and the big chances. And when we're a team that's struggling to score goals as it is, I would have personally said adios to everyone but Chaplin, to be fair.
Can I ask you a different question? Is there any one of the strikers you would keep?
Well, this is it. I personally, Caden Jackson's a funny one because McKenna likes him. So I think as a fan, because you trust McKenna, as you were just saying there a second ago, you may ignore preconceived notions and go, yeah, okay, I can, we'll keep Jackson because McKenna likes him. If you're keeping Sonny Aluko, you have to entertain at least the idea of keeping Macaulay Bonne. You have to. He scored.
I'll look the other way. If you want to keep Jackson, who scored 7 goals in 2 years, why do you want to get rid of Aluko?
This is it. I personally, if Jackson wasn't to be here next year, I've been his biggest supporter on the platform. I wouldn't be disappointed. He hasn't set the place alight. He does bring something different. Whereas I'm just not quite sure what Aluko.
Yeah, he scores no goals, but quicker.
But hang on. I just want to check this before I say it because I think I might be right in thinking. Hang on, just give me one momentum because I didn't expect this conversation to go in this direction. Mike, you're coming in very shortly. Just bear with me 1 minute. Caden Jackson's got 3 assists, Ben. That's 3 more than our number 10.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that as a striker, naturally being up there, he assists. But I judge a striker not on assists, but on goals. If we're going to judge the players by the roles that they need to do, then you need to judge them on the roles that they do.
3
and
goals
his
in
job
7
is to
starts.
score goals.
That's not too bad. That's not too shabby. 3 goals in 7 starts.
Yeah, but then I look at the collective. I think he does what Norwood will do. He'll come in, he'll score a couple of goals, and it's not score again for 6 months, because that's all we've ever known for years. What would make you think that'd be any different? So if we're going to be, I would go along with you and say, okay, let's be cold, stone-hearted with Aluko and bin him off, because he's a lovely man, but he ain't doing his job, and we need to get out of this league. That also applies to Jackson, to Norwood,
Agreed.
to Piggott, to Bomb. So maybe that's the middle ground here somewhere, that if you're going to apply something to one, we've got to kind of apply it to all.
Agreed. Mike, welcome in. How you doing?
Hey, Mike.
I'm good, mate. I'm good. You?
Good man. Yeah, I'm good. What do you make of what we've been talking about so far tonight in the first 30 minutes of the show?
I'm kind of with you, Martin. I'm a little bit underwhelmed at the fact that Aluko's, look, you can't fault his effort, right?
No.
But we have to look at where we are in the league this year. All right. We haven't won a game in 8. And I know Kieran McKenna's come in and it all looked rosy at the beginning, but in all fairness, it's just not, right now, with the players that we got, we're not scoring enough goals. It's, we got, these 2 number 10s like Gerrard and Lampard. It just doesn't work, unless you get the right players that play that role. You aren't going to get that.
I agree with that.
These 2 number 10s, we don't get enough players in the box. The last game I'm going Saturday as well, by the way. And, the last home game against, even against Wigan, there was times when we got balls in the box and there was no one in there. Now, if we're going to supply, you could argue that maybe Aluko has been putting balls in the box and there's been no one backing him. At least, look, I know that it's this new fashionable rubbish of playing, 3 forward players. But we're not Liverpool, we're not Man City, we're not a Premier League side, and sometimes I do think that modern managers forget that, and I think you've got to have a plan B, and at least with 2 strikers, you do tend to get them in the box, and
yeah, true.
Again,
I agree with that.
I prefer Morsey. I do prefer Morsey as a holding mid. I don't think. Look, he scored goals, and I get that, but we just need more people getting in the box. When we're attacking, we've got to start flooding. We've got to start flooding that box, because in that way we're going to start scoring more goals. But I'm a little bit underwhelmed with Aluko staying, because we were 11th in the league, and it says everything about our forward line.
Look at all the teams above us, Mike. All the teams above us have strikers scoring goals. Every single one of them but us. You then come to us, and it doesn't just go down. It falls through the floor. That, for me, it's almost like a green line and a red line.
Yeah.
And we're in that green line, and we need to be red hot firing. Every team, look at the teams getting promoted. They're scoring 25, 28 goals a season. And okay, maybe like what's his face, ponytail boy? Who we said, that's gone. Wigan.
The thing is, though,
he scored 28 goals
Wilkin.
this season. Wilkin, yeah, that's.
But when we discuss Selena, people often say, "Oh, but he's on a different wavelength to the rest of the team." And you can, if you think about the player, think back to a couple of times where he's made a through ball, or he's made a pass that should have been converted
Once every 7 games.
But I struggled to do that even once for Aluko, Mike.
Yeah, I agree. That is the. I mean, he has put some.
He's too safe.
Nice balls in the box when he has had the opportunity, but there's sometimes the balls are just like misplaced, and they're not really we don't seem to be going anywhere forward. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I agree. I think we need to bring in sort of 2 or 3 new sort of forward type of players, or strikers, whether they're centre forwards or whatever. We need to bring them in, because the players we got at the moment just aren't cutting the mustard, and I like Aluko. Don't get me wrong; he puts a lot of effort in, but I mean, it's like Jackson. I still can't see why we'd keep him. The only thing I could think of is that he wants to play him as that left of a 3 forward. You know, that's the only place that Jackson can play and maybe do any damage. But you know, and as for Aluko complimenting Burns, I'd say Danassian does more of that than Aluko. I think Danassian has been arguably my player of the season. You know, the way he's performed, you know, 7.5 plus a game, and him and Burns on that right hand side have really caused a lot of problems for teams, and it's really sad because most of our goals have come from that right hand side, and we've had nothing on that left hand side. You know, and it's
yeah.
I think that.
But then I'll go against myself. I'll go against myself, Mike, and say he's professional. It's all about culture and standards and creating that environment, as Ashton likes to call it. And Aluko will do that. Aluko will do that hands down. He is a model professional, and one that I've no doubt you probably do want around your dressing room. So that's the other side of my argument. And I'm kind of like a bit like the whole situation with is it the strikers? Is it the mid? I'm kind of like I'm being sort of pulled by each direction, but it is what it is. Emerson says Aluko's final decision is poor in key areas. Norman, teams you can play 2 up front, play direct. We are not a long ball team. We hated McCarthy ball. Ben Moore. Go on.
That is just an absolute load of toot. That is really right. You don't have to play long. But it's not about long ball. It's about passing into channels. Liverpool do it. Man City do it. All these top teams do it. Even a lot of the goals that we have conceded early part of the season was balls played into the channels. If we're going to play this free, we've got to learn to play balls into the channels. You know, it's not about long ball like it was the old days. Up to Mariner, flick on to Brazil or Gates or whoever. Do you know what I mean? That's a long ball style McCarthy thing. But there's times when you could, the long ball is on. Even Man United with Keane and that. I watched many games, United games with my wife who's a Man United fan, and in the 90s and that and the stuff, Man United were playing long balls to Beckham, to Giggs, and they, long passes. I used to look at them and they used to cut teams apart doing it. It's just sometimes you have to have that in your locker. You've got to be different in League One. You might get away with it in the Championship. You might get away with these lovely, nice, pretty football and that. But where's pretty football got us this year? 11th in League One. We've got to have a bit of realism, haven't we? Really?
I think that's a fair point, actually, Mike. And I think maybe a month ago I might have disagreed with you to say that I was one of the loudest, exponents of getting McCarthy out because of that horrible long ball, turgid, boring football. And I love the quality of football I'm seeing now. It's entertaining. However, I think you're quite right that maybe there's something about the right type of football in the wrong place. But I don't want to go too pretty. I don't want to go too direct, get players up there past it. I think maybe something it's like a balance of both things. Is that there are times when you can play that beautiful one-touch bang 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 football, but what you're saying is it kind of has to come on top of something a bit more gritty, a bit more forward thinking, a bit more direct. So maybe you can kind of have both rather than they're mutually exclusive.
Yeah, we've got to mix it up. We have to mix it up to get out of this league. We've got to mix it up, and pretty football has not got us nowhere. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. I like to see one-touch football and flicks and tricks. But how many times? I mean, Chaplin was driving me mad with these tricks and flicks that weren't coming off. And just keep it simple and just like you say. You've got to mix it up, and you can't be predictable in this league because teams will figure you out. That's why Paul Cook.
Ali G style, keep it real. Mike, we love you, but we're losing the line to you, so I'm going to let you go.
Oh, yeah.
See you, man. See you Saturday.
Man.
Enjoy your fishing, my brother. Look after yourself. Lewis, has Aluko been victim of others flattering to deceive? Was Aluko brought in as a backup to Fraser, Selena, Chaplin, and maybe even Dobra, but ended up having to play more than ever was planned? Norman, you just said we are not Liverpool who play one out and out striker. Ben Moore, they don't do long for the sake of it. Them teams go long with a purpose. The ball's put high into forwards plate, I think he means. James, Aluko will be excellent coming on from the bench to help see out games next season. He's a great pro and dependable. Spot on. That's why it's such a confusing time.
Maybe that, Martin, because we have kind of oppositional views on this. Maybe that comment right there was the kind of the bridge between us, which is okay if he's not going to start and he's not going to do that. Maybe coming on for 20 minutes when we know he can run, he can make those players around him better. Wes Burns and Chaplin play better when Aluko is that engine in the middle. maybe that's the balance, you know.
And he did provide
the good sub.
Yeah, that's why it's a bit. I don't know if I had a second contributor, for example, I'd probably just play the balanced host because that's how I honestly feel about this situation. Balanced, a little bit underwhelmed if that's it's almost like we're running it back when we don't when what we've got already is 11th. But equally, great pro.
I don't
love
think
the
it's
man.
an indicator of things to come if it makes you feel. But I don't think I understand what you feel about Aluko. I'm not blind to it. But I think is your worry that it's an indicator of the transfer window to come. I don't think it will. There's too many things below it going right, I think, to really truly fuck up this transfer window. I just don't think it's the way it's going to go.
Ipswich. We've just found our goalkeeper.
I know, but
I'm expecting him to retire next month to go into the police force or something silly. Like,
it's not the Ipswich we're used to, though. This is Ipswich 2.0. How about that?
But he did provide one of the greatest moments this year. I do love that. I love that. I might just do a show and someone just sit here playing that clip over and over.
Reminds me of that was it Gio Edwards who he passed it into like was it a cross and it went over into like the stand? Yeah.
Oh Christ, he's better than Edwards. Yeah, I'm not.
But I would balance it out by look at every single time that Bond's in front of the goal for the last 30 games. That would be my balance, and then play that every single minute for a couple of hours. You get the same response in your soul.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Right, let's have a quick word from one of our partners, and then we will rejoin the conversation very shortly. Woodpecker, I'll put my words out. I'm terribly sorry.
Woodpecker.
Mortgages and protection. Ipswich Town fan Graham. So if you're facing the cost of living crisis and you're feeling that squeeze, then maybe go to Graham, who's a Town fan, and see if he can't help you out by looking to save you some money. The link to his business is in the chat, but I've also put together a lovely little video titled Income. Hello, you lovely lot. I am here very quickly to discuss Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection, run by Ipswich Town fan Graham. So you're in good hands if you go with Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. I want to discuss the income protection service they do with you. You all know me and you all know my story. Literally, one day I went out into that big wide world, a scary world, and I had an injury which left me disabled and unable to work. Just like that, I lost my income. Just like that. That's a click there. Crazy. This may have been an answer to a prayer, because obviously when you can't work, you can't earn. And when you can't earn, your bills are still going to be there wanting to be paid, like children needing to be fed. This could have been an answer to my prayer and taken some stress away from me and let me focus on my mental and physical health. Income protection insurance, it's not for everybody, but it might be for you. So give Graham a call on 01636 337 447 or email graham@woodpeckermortgages.co.uk. And I must say, your home may be repossessed if you do not keep up repayments on your mortgage. You know it makes sense, you lovely people. Beautiful. Lewis Robinson. That guy there is such a suave and sophisticated man. Profile of players, I don't know who he is. He's my younger brother. We'll sign a young and athletic. Aluko has played in the Premier League and SPL. See him help with their development. Can't quantify his contribution and experience off the field. Josh, welcome in. You click the link to have your say on your platform.
Josh.
How are you?
Well, thank you. How are you both?
Yeah, not
good,
too bad. Enjoying the chat. This is the start of the summer where the content is drip fed, or the news is drip fed out of Portman Road. So the content sort of feels like you're focusing on one area when really the whole team needs work. But Josh, how are you feeling this evening? You've been listening. You've decided to get involved. What's on your mind?
Disagree with some points on Aluko and agree with other points on Aluko.
Tell us. What do you think?
A man of balance. I like it.
I disagree with Ben that he makes Aluko, Burns and Chaplin better when he plays.
Okay.
I think if you're a quality player, you're going to be a quality player regardless of who's playing. Burns has proved he can do it without Aluko, so that's why I disagree. Chaplin's proved he can do it without Aluko, so I don't think he does make a difference for them two. Maybe other people, but not them two.
Okay. And what were the points you did agree with?
I think he does make differences in games in terms of quality. However, I feel he can be inconsistent with that quality, because sometimes I feel like he slows the game down just a little bit when he holds the ball a bit too long.
Good points. Good points. Your
So
friend in the chat.
kind of similar. So I've got to say, kind of similar to like Selena, almost like there's moments of quality, but they're moments, and all the other moments where the quality doesn't come off kind of disrupts the flow of the game, particularly in the forward runs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Selena, yeah.
Good point. Good point. Josh, Craig at Portsmouth, can I just say well done Exeter for getting promoted into our league? They fully deserve it after the last 5 years, banging on the door. Ipswich Town, same level as Forest Green Rovers and Exeter.
You just have to laugh, don't you?
Oh, Jesus, I need a whiskey.
Yeah, well, I've had several. That's probably since. Yeah, I mean, well, it's not. That's no disrespect to them. That's more of a slap in our own faces because
Totally right. Good on them. Fantastic.
They're on the rise.
Great.
We're on the
Great.
stagnation. But it feels different now. I'm so excited to see what this summer can bring and unpack. We were talking earlier, Josh, about the league position, 11th. It ain't pretty. It's embarrassing, but it feels a different kind of 11th. It feels a different kind of end of the season. Or does it? How are you feeling as a fan heading into final weekend and beyond?
I don't know if it does feel different. I mean, 11th is worse than last year. 11th is worse than last year. The points is still worse than last year. And if we don't beat Charlton, they're going to remain worse than last year.
Correct.
But it feels weird that it feels weird that could happen, because weirdly it's still been an improvement since McKenna's been here. But yeah, we could potentially.
It's strange, isn't it? It's almost like
less points than last year. That doesn't feel right.
It's really odd. It's like almost everything apart from the freaking league position is better, but the only thing that matters is the league position. What a horrible dichotomy.
I'm struggling for a Ben Adams analogy here. I just feel like I don't know. I'm struggling for an analogy here, Ben. Help me out. Like, I feel good, but I don't feel good. It was a great time, but it wasn't a great time. Like, I'm struggling here because I'm generally thinking this season's been better than previous, been better than any time actually in the last 10 years. Well, apart from the playoff year and the championship. It's been some great football without past teams, without played teams, with dominated teams, with thrashed teams. We've been, of course, embarrassed at times ourselves, but overall, the roller coaster is heading up.
Is it like? But the end result is shit. Is it like you go out for a really amazing meal with your wife? It's a date night, and the service is amazing. You tip them more than 20%. The food is succulent. It's not only as good as you thought; it's better than you thought. You get the bill. And actually, it's not as expensive as you thought it was. And you make plans that night to come back. Then when you go home, you get diarrhea.
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
everything about that thing was great, apart from the bloody end bit. That's my analogy.
Yeah, I did wonder where you were going with the analogy. I was thinking this could go in the long grass.
Our season is diarrhea after a great meal.
Our season is diarrhea after a great meal. Another great T-shirt. Ben Adams with the merchandise. I hope George is watching this tonight.
TM, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. It does feel a little bit different. Josh, before we let you go, are you going to be there on Saturday?
100%. Be there nice and early too.
Come to Sir Elf, man. Come say hi.
Yeah, definitely. You got to be there early, Josh, because it's 12:30 kickoff. So
is it?
Yes.
Earlier than that, I mean.
Jesus Christ, I'm glad you said that. Oh my God.
12:30 kickoff. We'll be there from 11:30 at the Sir Ralph. Are you going to the fan zone afterwards for the player awards evening? Evening?
No, probably not.
No? Well, you either are or you're not. It's a ticket and they're now sold out.
There's no one offensive about
that. There's no, I'll see how it goes. I'll see what the weather's like. Darren, build a team this summer. Don't rely on loans that are either not wanted, been injured, or want them to have match time as not ready for the first team. There we go. Josh, we love you. Look after yourself.
Good to see you, man.
We'll see you on Saturday. Keep rocking the TT merch. Cole Brooks, we are more like a night out. Sounds great. You look forward to it. But you end the night with a ropey kebab, and end up regretting it. And then when you're asked the next day, was it a good night?
Yeah.
When you ask the next day, was it a good night? You're like, yeah.
It was. There were some real great bits, and I'm glad I went. But fuck me, did I pay for it? The end was just awful. Yeah.
The Ring of Fire. Dominic
A
Mann.
ring of fire.
Great tune. I do like Johnny Cash. When
Me
they're
too.
Hurt was his best one. When they are
Oh.
going, it's just superb. You can't help but cry if you listen to it. Anytime
It's,
it brings
right
up what you didn't know you were feeling deep inside.
I defy anyone to put someone they love in that song and not feel something. That's a beautiful song.
I agree.
Yeah.
Look, it's a great show tonight. We're going all over the place. When they are going for it, rather than being blamming their energy like Evans era, happy to support the energy and the improvements around the club. It's a want to improve that's got me. I completely agree with you, Dominic.
Yeah, okay. So I like Dominic's point there. It's the desire almost underneath that kind of end result. And that's what I talk about, that spine. There's something happening underneath the surface of this horrible choppy water. Underneath, it's actually quite calm and warm and it feels good. Whereas I think when we were, say, getting 9th or 8th in the season under Cook or Lambert or Hurst or whoever, everything underneath it was shit. I would actually rather the inverse, because one turns into the other. Whereas usually, if what's under, it's the house built on sand, if that makes sense.
Marcus
I agree
Evans,
with that. Good point, Dominic.
Yeah, it's a great point. Marcus Evans was big on the green shoots, as in, there's green shoots. The difference with this is actually, if they come up right now and said there's green shoots at this football club, you could believe it because you can see it. You can see those green shoots shooting
that's a great point.
on the ground.
There you go. That's my T-shirt of your saying. That's a great point. You believe the green shoots are not something we all just laugh at now. You're actually seeing them. They haven't flowered yet, and they're probably not going to for a little while, but they're there.
Yeah.
That spine, that defence, that Wolfenden, Danassian, our goalkeeper, Burgess, Evans.
Bon.
Where's it? Who?
Bon.
Fucking get that flower. No
I was just seeing if you were.
That one.
I was just seeing if you were doing so in the flow. If I said anybody, you were just going to reel them off afterwards.
We've got the spine that the soil's there. It's been fertilised. It's been beautifully watered, and the sun's shining. Everything that's underneath the thing that has to flower is there. That's why I'm excited for next season, and that's why Dad and I bought season tickets again, because we're on it. We believe
15,000 apparently.
Incredible. It's for a reason.
Yeah, because they want to come to Sir Ralph to see the Gov. Lewis. First summer in League One where we have a clear strategy. Essential we get business done early and have K-Mat squad assembled for full pre-season. No bringing players in end of August when season underway. Norman, I'm confident the transfer window will be far better, more structured, more strategic, and we will get better quality. Nick Muller saw Johnny Cash live twice in 89-97. Oh. Lucky man.
Was that when his wife, it's gone from me. His wife, Johnny Cash's wife. I've got like 15 of her albums. It's been a long day.
Parton.
No, Dolly Parton.
No idea. I'm just standing first standing in my head.
There's 150 people shouting the name of the screen.
Not me, mate.
Sorry, I'm not going to have to talk until I know this. June Carter. Yeah.
There you go. I was sitting here, I was thinking,
sorry.
Right, I don't know who he was married to. Didn't know he was married. She made music. Fuck it, let's just say Dolly Parton. Because Dolly Parton is normally the answer to anything.
I love Dolly Parton. I actually want to go to Dollyland. I'm a bit of a fan.
I do like Dolly myself, to be fair.
Not really sure why I said that in public, but
that's not. We'll go together. I'm happy to do that.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, bro day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Kevin Gates going to the Player of the Year, being 2 years since he lost his sister. Kevin, I'm so sorry. We'll definitely raise a toast to your sister on Saturday. Hopefully, we'll get 3 points.
We'll do indeed, Kevin.
Procrastinating Womble. I think some underestimate their own value in the fan base. You guys drive the positive and fun.
Oh, we haven't always been accused of that. I'll tell you that. What shows you're watching? Watch on a long enough time scale.
You wait until a few transfers come in.
I think as a fan base, I think we're like a lot of fans. We're positive when there's reason to be positive, and we're negative when there's reason to be negative. And I think each is justified in their own way. We've had a lot, June Carter, and we've had a lot of years of negativity. And I think because we all kind of see the same thing, and people are spending their money because they all see the same thing, we feel positive. If it goes negative again, it'll probably pull us down with it. But we react to what happens in front of us, like all football fans.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And I think overall, we're always steady. I mean, some of the match day reactions are always going to be whatever that match has served you. If that was a 1-0 defeat, you could have won 10 on the bounce. People
Yeah,
will
there are
view that
moments in
1-0
time.
defeat.
Look at our last 4 games. They've all come off the 85th minute. You're going to be strongly reacting against teams at that
definitely.
point.
It's human
And most
nature.
of our whole season has been about late goals against us. So I understand that those really strong reactions usually have happened about 3 minutes before people start talking on the podcast. So, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I've often had to scream into an empty room before I've gone
Yep.
live.
Yeah.
James Hobson, Evans didn't water the green shoots. Now we've got American fertilizer. He also meant a great community. Well, we do try, and hopefully we're a community that's building and growing, and we're so pleased to have you a part of it. Procrastinating Womble, even though I can't say the first part of your name, so I might just call you Womble from this point forward. Now you know you're part of the community. Womble. Fixture release will be interesting. We thought getting new promoted side early was an easy start. Do you think there's an argument that new promoted teams are the most difficult early? Great question.
Yeah, absolutely correct. They are. Look at what we did against the newly promoted teams last season. We were fucking awful. I don't think we beat any of them until about 2/3 of the way through. But those newly promoted teams, the Forest Greens, the Exeters, they're coming up here thinking, we're thinking, Jesus Christ, we're in the same league as Forest Green and Exeter. They're thinking, holy shit, we're in the same league as well, potentially Sunderland and Ipswich. Oh my God, they're going to raise their game. They're going to think it's a dead rubber almost. So, we're not going to beat a team like Ipswich. Look at where we've come from. That's usually when you get beat. So I agree with that. I'd rather play our promotion, potential promotion contenders than the ones who have just come up. 100%.
Depends where you are in the window, I guess, in the sense of your building strategy. But I think with what Mike was saying earlier about those teams, about needing to get the ball forward, somebody's just put a tweet out. It's about the Liverpool Villarreal game, but I actually think it sums up what Mike was trying to say about the style of play. This person says, when a side sits deep, it can be really tempting just to launch the ball on the counter. But the quicker the ball goes forward, the quicker it comes back and you're under pressure again. And that's the principle that Villarreal plan with controlling the tempo of possession. And I think that's kind of, because we haven't got those target men yet, or those big players, that's kind of how we've been doing this year, despite teams sitting deeper. So maybe the window will uncover some more pace, or you might see a target man arrive, which you might think on the face of it, not sure how he fits, but someone who's going to hold the ball and create.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think we're going to be. My gut feeling is I think we're going to be very pleasantly surprised with who comes in up top this season, and I also think we're going to be very pleasantly surprised with who goes as well. I've got that.
Oh, he's frozen. I'll just drop him out. That leaves me a one man. Oh, he's back.
Oh.
He's back. There we go. You dropped. Sorry, you froze on me, Ben. Yeah, you're back. Doctor.
Sorry. Well, keep going. I can't remember what I was saying.
Have to do your homework. The newcomers, give them enough respect, but play your game. Right. I've got 3 players. You've got 60 seconds per player. You can ask as many questions as you want.
I won't know any of these. I'm awful with football trivia and knowledge. I literally don't know anything.
You can ask.
I'm a child.
You can ask who they've played for.
Can I ask any question I want?
Any question except who is it? I'm not obviously going to tell you who it is.
What's my strategy down the shit? Okay, go on then. Go for it. Just
give it a go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Who's the player? The player you're thinking of? Who played alongside them as a good double act?
A good double act. Hard to say, but he played in a team with Matt Richards. He played in a team alongside Craig Bellamy. He's played alongside Laurent Robert.
Midfielder, right-sided midfielder.
Correct. Yes. Has played for Charlton and Ipswich. Started his career with Ipswich. Ended it with Colchester.
Bellamy. Did Bellamy go to West Ham? No, he's right-side midfielder. I have no idea. Don't know. I don't know. There'll be 1,000 people streaming the screen. Ambrose, Ambrose. Is that the answer?
Darren Ambrose. Correct.
Fuck me, that's the one I had in my brain. But of course, I'm going to say that now, aren't I? I should have said it.
You should have said it.
That's the one I had in my. I thought I thought midfielder. I thought not a right-sided midfielder. Okay, fair enough. Let's do the next one. Let's do the next one. I'm not going to get.
So we'll do it slightly different. I'll tell you some trivia, and then you can see if you can guess the player. All right, we'll do it a little bit different for you in just a minute. Here we go. Right. So he started his career at Jomo Cosmos. He is from South Africa. He has played Cosmos, Orlando Pirates, Lazio, Bolton, Charlton, Ipswich. Ended at Jomo Cosmos. He played 62
The hell is
times.
Jomo Cosmos? Is that a cocktail?
No, it's a team in South Africa, a team in Johannesburg. They play in the National First Division.
White South African or black South African?
He's white, I believe. I'm got a picture here. He played for Bolton with Klaus Jensen. He had the world's best debut. Come on. You've got it. He gave us the worst. No, he's a centre half. Gave us the worst 45 minutes known to man.
No idea.
Mark Fish.
Oh, yeah, I've even my ballpark. How many people out there got that? I'm really interested.
Everybody.
Just make me feel more stupid than I feel already.
Everybody got that, I'm afraid.
Everybody. Yeah, I know nothing about it. I'm used to it. It's just a weakness for me.
Right.
Let's do next one. I'm not going to get. Let's get some people screaming at the screens thinking you fucking idiot, Miltray.
Right.
Go on.
Middle name Patrick. Started his career at Luton, played for Wolves, Blackpool, Copenhagen, obviously us, Charlton, Coventry, and Billericay. He has played 8 times for the Republic of Ireland, played in the central midfield once against Nottingham Forest, and gave us the best midfield display we have ever seen. Put Cole Skuse to shame, but he wasn't brought in as a central midfield player. He was a right back. Who is this man?
Someone, not more. No, not more.
No, close.
Middle name Patrick.
Middle name Patrick. Yeah.
What's his first name?
I'm not going to say his first name, but I can tell you that he's obviously played for Copenhagen. He's played in the Premier League. After he played 8 times for Town, then went to Charlton and played 15 times. We were the back end of his career.
Don't know. No idea.
Kevin Foley.
Don't remember him. No,
Don't remember Kevin Foley. He gave us the best midfield display we've ever seen at Portman Road. It was immense.
I can't remember it. No, useless. Told you. Real weakness of mine. Unless it's happening in
don't
season,
worry.
I'm like a child.
You can redeem yourself.
I almost guarantee I probably can't.
You can, because we're going to come to your team. Your genius.
I feel myself sweating trying to get these right. Oh, fucking hell.
So,
I'm going to redeem myself now then.
This is your genius. I'll just explain it because for those that are at home, this is your team. Walton, Donatian, Wolf, Burgess. You would like Penny in there if he's fit, but if he's not, Thompson, Morsey, Elmis, Burns if he's fit. If Thompson is fit, you want to play him in midfield. If he isn't, you're going to go with Selena, Backinson, Aluko, and Chapman. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, Thompson in the centre of midfield. WTAF.
Yep. Thompson does not have a lot of love, but there's a reason he's played a lot of games. I see him as a player who is quick. I see him as a player who can he's got 20 yards of running in him where the ball sticks to his feet. Where he usually loses it, where he usually plays, is his final pass. But playing with someone right around him, very, very close to him, a Selena in front of him, a Morsey next to him. For me, I want to see him further up the pitch. I think he'll be better going up the pitch as almost like a flying winger. There is nothing I really have to say to justify that other than I like the speed, the effort, and I like the energy. And if you're thinking that can't work, that's crazy, what's the alternative? Because I could give you a really safe formation and we're fucking 11th. So I'm just picking little pieces. I've thought, I like that. I'd like to see him in a more advanced role. I like the energy. I like the ball at his feet. I think there's room for that. That's my misnomer. That's my crazy one, whatever. But that I would like to see him in a more advanced role.
Chaplin up front.
Yep. Chaplin has scored the goals. Chaplin has the assists. He has an excellent footballing brain and he holds up the ball, I feel, very, very well. Now, the safe thing would be to say, I noticed that when Ipswich Town put out the formation at 2:00 every time or 6:45, there's a lot of thumbs up of whatever, because you've got Bond, everyone loves Bond, everyone loves Norwood, Jackson there, he's come back, or Piggott, there's always a question. But they don't score goals. None of them. Chaplin has scored more goals than Norwood. Chaplin scored more goals than Jackson, Norwood, and Piggott combined. in half the amount of time that they've actually, been on the pitch collectively over the season. For me, put him on as a striker. My question would be, why not? What do we lose by doing that? Because if you want to start Selena, and I'm fairly on the fence with Selena, I do like him more than I think he should be a bit more consistent, which is what the Fisherman has said. I would like to put Aluko and Selena behind Chaplin, perhaps. It solves that problem. And I think Chaplin is an excellently brained footballer who scores goals, and his hold-up play is very good, and he doesn't mind running with his feet at defenders. So why wouldn't you? In fact, that's my question. Why wouldn't you?
I agree. I'm struggling.
That's a Hail Mary. It's a Hail Mary. It will take a ballsy manager to do that. It ain't going to happen, but that's what I'd do. But I'm stupid.
But with Chaplin, Benny, I don't think it is a Hail Mary up front. I think that's a curl to the flat, because quite honestly, I'm sitting here as the host, and I'm struggling to think of a reason why we haven't seen Connor Chaplin up front more often in this season when we've struggled to score goals. Because, as people say, such as Dominic Mann, he's played up front before. I agree with Chaplin up front. He's always been a striker. It'd be nice for him to try in a dead rubber game. Last week, a more advanced role, albeit not an out and out striker. But again, Connor Chaplin is probably my favourite Ipswich Town player right now. Because
why?
Whether the club have sort of manufactured it that way, or it's just organically happened, he's everything that Martin Lambert of 10, 11, 12 years of age loved about Matt Holland and Ipswich Town Football Club.
What you loved about Matt Holland, you see a little bit in Chaplin?
The character.
Okay.
And he's been obviously he's on the community trust. He's a supporter of the Rainbow Tractors.
You're quite right.
All of those things that they've made, that they've given him the position to do, whether that's
and he's good on the pitch
or organic. Yeah. That's character, and it's Ipswich Town, and it's inclusive, and it's family, and it's everything we are off the pitch, or we want to be off the pitch. And then on the pitch, he's a dynamo. When he's in the 18-yard box and the ball falls, I want one person around it. Connor Chaplin. Yeah. He's nippy. He's aggressive in the right manner, in the right way. I love the player. I think he's fantastic. I'd love to see him up front with a partner.
Great.
And see what we've got.
The question might be then, who supports a player like that? Certainly if he's playing up front on his own, or who is the partner? The partner you'd need to bring in. There's no one at the club who would even contemplate being within 30 miles of it up front. But then the question would be, what kind of striker would partner him? Would you go the old-fashioned the Joe Royal, the little and large? Would you have someone who's got pace who runs at a defence with him?
Pace. Because he's such a clever player. He can see a pass and put it through for a... I think him and Jackson up top would be dynamite. I
disagree. I disagree. I would want to see him with a proper striker, one who scores more than 15 goals in 2.5 years.
I'm talking out of the current batch. If we're talking,
Okay, fair enough.
Then I would agree. But so I'm with you with the Chaplin up front. Score prediction then for Saturday as we round up tonight's show. What is it going to be, Benny? Let us know in the chat. What's your score going to be?
I think because the size of the crowd, I think because it's the last game of the season, I think because there'll be more than one player there thinking, shit, I could be onto a good thing here. I think we'll have a good performance and we will win 3-1.
3-1. Okie dokie.
3-1.
Safety guy.
I think Chaplin's going to score 2 of them.
I like it. Chaplin in a decent run last few games. Auto selection at the moment.
Yeah.
Colin, Aluko probably won't play much next season, but it'll be good for the club. Carl.
Agree,
also,
Colin.
Chaplin has been doing so well in the 10 and scoring goals, but moving him to striker doesn't necessarily mean he will score more or do better. I get why you do it, but I like him where he is. I mean, Chaplin behind 2 pacey strikers would equally float my boat.
I agree. So I think Carl's point there is very good. It depends who you get in front of him, because I would be all for keeping him in his role right now if you're complementing him with strikers. If we get into the same situation next season where the wanting for promotion is even greater in front of a bigger crowd every week, then you've got to have someone within that 18-yard box scoring goals. And if we're in the same position where whatever strikers we have don't do that, he has to be the man to be there. There is no one else in the club who can do what he does in front of goal. And that's really sad, because I'm taking out 4 strikers by saying that. You know, there's no one else who can do what he does. Not even a striker.
I agree. James Thompson has been as immense close control. Amazing to see in the warm-up, so I wouldn't be against seeing him further forward. Josh Russell, Chapman's the best player at this club, bar Burns. Go on, hate me. And
no, love you, Josh.
Yeah. Paul Chapman. I didn't want to see the loanies play that we are intending on keeping. Yeah, fair point. Trevor, anyone not in McKenna's plan should audition. If you've not made your mark by now.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. If you're not done it by now, you're probably not going to. Fair point.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want one game wonders.
We should go with Trevor's point. You know, anyone not in McKenna's plan should not play Saturday. Same reason they're not playing Simpson, for example. So I hear that. Yeah.
2-0 to Dominic Mann. 2-1 win, says Lee. 2-1 Town. Finish on a high. 3-1 Town, says Ben. 6-1 says Nick Muller. Ben, I think Nick is on it. I love it. I think we'll see a formation similar to when we battered Gillingham 4-0 early in McKenna's reign next season, 3-4-1-2. He would be good if wings cut in for killer pass. Lewis, hope to see people at Sir Ralph Saturday. Thanks to everyone for contributing to my experience supporting us this season. Get behind the boys and enjoy the game. A long way.
We'll see you there, Lewis. I'll be the one just underneath Sir Alf Ramsey's crotch eating a hot dog and some chips. So I'll
man.
There.
I'll be there. Front in the show, the last after I can't believe it. After all the nerves and then all the season, it has gone incredibly quick. We'll be here through the summer. We've got some content lined up. I know I've sent you some dates, Benny, so you'll be back on the platform. Looking forward to hearing your views through the summer as things unfold and progress. But for now, the last match day preview show of the 2021-22 season in the books, and we'll finish on a high with 1-0 penny for 500 quid. Well, if that comes in, the beers are...
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better